What's up, Ramley? You are now in the kitchen with Chef Nixon for your fixing for the latest and the greatest about VCU men's basketball. Okay, so we had a big rivalry game, VCU versus ODU at ODU. Suckers. But yeah, big rivalry game, VCU versus ODU. Overall record right now, I believe, is 52 to 44 in VCU's favor. Um, and I gotta say, man, I really enjoy real rivalries, right? I still don't know if we found a true rival in the A10 as of yet. Um, St. Bonnie's just been good recently, but I don't know if that's really a rivalry yet. I guess our rival would be Rhode Island um, right now, and I don't think we got some work to do in that rivalry. But ODU, George Mason, and I want to say maybe James Madison. Um, in the CAA were real big rivalries for us, but especially ODU and George Mason, especially those two. But I would put ODU number one because we had so many different things that contributed to the rivalry. Just meeting in the championship multiple times. Also, there's a whole Darius Thea's story. So I'll take a quick second to talk about that. Shaka Smart's very first recruit was Darius Theus. And if you don't know, Darius is from 757. With such a great talent, you would think, it'd be like a Bradford Burgess VCU thing or a Brandon Rozelle VCU thing. However, ODU decided to pass on Darius. For whatever reason, they believed that Darius wasn't up to par for their program. And as fast forward, you see that they would have loved to have him. They could have used him. Darius led his team to a CAA championship. He did his thing overall. You know what I mean? One of the best leaders in VCU history. And I say that with confidence. So ODU came into Saturday's game on a two-game win streak. Against ironically, former CAA opponents. One being William and Mary, which I'm not really sure how they're doing this year. They haven't really been the same since a couple years ago when they lost. What's my guy's name? The guy with the dreads. VCU fans know who I'm talking about. But they also beat George Mason, and George Mason is now being coached by Kim English. And they started out the season very, very well, and then they kind of had a little slide. But from what I hear from former Mason players and just around in the media, George Mason is supposed to be looking really good this year. So to see them lose to ODU was kind of surprising, to say the least. ODU also came into this game shooting basically 48% from three in the last two games. They still don't get up a ton, but having that efficiency, I'm pretty sure those shots could have been key or in key moments. So they're looking to sweep the former CAA opponents. VCU, on the other hand, is trying to win their third in a row. After beating Jacksonville State and Ace's return, VCU has looked really, really good. But this is going to be their first true, in my opinion. I know we played Vanderbilt at Vanderbilt, but I don't believe that Vanderbilt's environment is something that you can compare to an ODU environment, along with not mentioning the whole rival side of it. But ODU has always had a rambunctious crowd. So I think it's going to be a real good test for our guys. Because even our leader, like Ace, last year he played away games, but it really wasn't true away games. You know what I mean? Um, we had empty stadiums or 200 people in a stadium. Um, and even before VCU took off, that's still minuscule to a rivalry game like ODU or George Mason. You know what I mean? So I was curious to see how our young guys are going to handle it. I know Vince Williams has seen real away games, been in hostile environments. Levi Stockard has. But I'm trying to think, and I think that really may be it. Maybe Hassan, but he wasn't playing this game, nor was Mikael Brown-Jones. They both are still MIA, missing in action. I know, like I said, Hassan has an ankle injury. He's trying to nurse back to being 100%. And I think Mikael is still under concussion protocol. So hopefully we get both of them back for the next game. But yeah, it's going to be a real good test for our guys. So starting off the game, I felt like we didn't play to our best ability, and I believe jitters may have had something to do with that, or I did at first. I thought jitters had something to do with that, but you got to give ODU some credit in the aspect that they really came to play. What's his name? Austin Trice, number 23, and C.J. Kaiser, number 25. They really, really brought their energy. C.J. Kaiser was hitting a lot of tough jump shots, and he was basically getting what he wanted. He had one play.
I'm having trouble understanding right now.
He had one play where he broke Keyshawn Curry off something mean with a move, had him touching earth. And when you're a defender, like when you're guarding the best player, sometimes those type of plays are going to happen to you. You know what I'm saying? But he started off extremely aggressive and extremely hot. But for me, if you're not already known as the guy, and what I mean by the guy, like you come to a game, you're like, this guy is going to give you 20s, X amount of points or whatever. I don't think that you can sustain that type of ability. Some guys really can, but those are a select few guys that come out and hit you with 12 points in the first half and then hit you with another 12 in the second. So I wasn't really too concerned about that, but it did lift ODU and give the crowd something to make noise about. Austin Trice, on the other hand, was being aggressive and physical and making highlight plays throughout the whole game. He had a mean dunk coming down the lane, which the crowd really got into. And mind you, the crowd was loud, but it still wasn't a 2013 VCU versus ODU game. I think COVID is really affecting everybody in attendance to a lot of games and stuff, whether it be for multiple reasons where people just don't feel comfortable, people want to wear masks. But ODU was very loose about all that. But it still is. We're still in a pandemic, so hey. But it was enough fans in there so that the guys can get used to a true away game. So with ODU having such success in the first half, I noticed a couple things. Let's start with ODU. The one thing I noticed about ODU that if I was an ODU fan, I would have been nervous. But being a VCU fan, I was very happy to see was ODU really only trusted Jalen Hunter to bring the ball up. That's number 12. He was their starting point guard. They only really trusted him to bring the ball up the court. So does anybody know the significance of that or why that is a big deal, especially when playing VCU? Nobody? The reason it's important is because that's constant pressure for 40 minutes or however long you play. In the whole first half, he played a big chunk of minutes. In the whole first half, he had to deal with either Ace Baldwin or Jalen Nunn picking him up 94 feet. And I know for some people, they may think that, oh, you just got to be in condition. That shouldn't make anybody, you don't see the significance in that. But it's different when you can control the pace, right? You can just catch the ball freely, take your time, bring it up the court, start the offense. It's different than I got to work. I got to seal them off, step in, push off to get open, catch the ball. And then as soon as I turn around, I got somebody in my face checking me, making me turn, exert extra energy. That's a big thing. That's a real big thing. And when I saw they only had one ball handler, I was like, oh, no, he's going to be dead tired. And I seen it at like the 10-minute mark. The 10-minute mark of the first half. I was like, oh, he's going to be dead tired. He ain't going to be no good second half. And a lot of things I just seen were going in our favor, like Kaiser getting super hot. All right, that's not going to happen in the second. That's not going to happen in the second half. If we have everything else on lock, that's not going to happen in the second. I don't have faith in that. Number 12, Jalen Hunter. He's gonna be dead second half. I mean, there's no way. Like when you're playing a team like VCU, you would think that is, you can't really practice for VCU, right? That's something you have to do day in and day out to have that type of condition, to have one ball handler do it. Like even if, and I really don't think skills has anything to do about it. There could have been a guy who had the ball on a string, but having to work to get open, having to work to get across the half, and then having to work on offense, like once you're in a half court setting, it's just not going. Sometimes it's just not going to be enough. It's not going to be enough. And I think Jalen Nunn needs some credit for that because I believe he checked the majority of the game, and he did a really good job of making him work for everything. The second thing I noticed for the VCU side was Ace Baldwin played a total of like, I want to say 20, 21, 20, 23 minutes, something like that. But I only believe he played like 7 or so minutes in the first half. And it was early. I felt like he set out like the second, maybe like the last 10 minutes of the first half. I feel like he sat out. He was just on the bike. And what I took from that is, okay, so they're going to rest him first half. Second half, Ace Baldwin's going to get a lot of tick. And what we know now, if anything, we know anything now about Ace Baldwin is he's a playmaker. He's a winner. So having him on the court makes a big difference for VCU. VCU's already a handful without him, but with him on the court, it's a big difference. It's a big difference. Decision making, toughness, leadership, all those things. Having an extra leader, you know what I'm saying? Like, for example, let's remove Joey from the Final Four team. That's a big difference. You know what I'm saying? Let's remove Darius from the teams after that. That's a big difference. So, or Briante after him. It's a big difference. Starting point guards are very important to the success of a team, right? And Ace is one of those guys. Not only is he a starting point guard, but he is a true point guard that really affects every aspect of the game. So shout out to him. And I seen that he only played 7 minutes first half. I was like, oh, shoot. I'm not worried. We went into the half down 31-36. Or no, 31-37. And I leaned over to the people I came with. Quick shout out to Timmy, my man Gary, Natalie. We had a bus trip. CJ, it was lovely. Yeah, so shout out to you guys. I had a ball Saturday. Let's do it again. But going into the second half, I leaned over. I was like, hey, we're gonna be fine. We're gonna bust this open second half. And sure enough, that's what happened. I'm not gonna say that they just completely laid down. Like I said, they had some guys that were real fighters, that were real dogs. But offensively and defensively, in total, they just had no answer for us. We ended up outscoring them in the second half, 44-29, and we basically took them apart defensively. Ace was able to drive. Like, I know you don't like Ace finished the game with 5 assists, but if we were to count hockey assist, and basically for those who don't know, hockey assist is basically the pass before the pass that gets the assist. And Ace did a good job getting in the paint, kick, swing, Vince, open three, bang. Like, he had like 2 or 3 plays like that that really more momentum changers, and that's one of the things. That's one of the ways he impacts the offense, where it makes us that much harder to guard. It gives our guards easier shots. And I would be remiss if I did not mention the play of Levi Stockard. Levi played so well and so strong. Like he really made ODU, the Lion, look like kitty cats down there. It looked effortless. It looked easy. Like, I'm just take you here. You're too little. I'm just walk you where I need to be. Oh, you think you got me? I'm gonna pump fake here. I'm gonna take you here. Boom. I'm just throw this hook up there. Boom. And it was just like effortless dogging. Like, there's like, it almost looked like a dad playing their son. Like, young and too slow. You know what I mean? He made it look super easy, and we did a good job of getting the ball in there to him. But he must have a small palm tree in his book bag wherever he goes. Or we all were mistaken. We all were mistaken about Levi, and he could really, really play the game of basketball. And none of this was a fluke. Last year actually was a fluke. Imagine that. So big shout out to Levi. So let's get in. The final score was 75-66. VCU with a comfortable win. I called it before the game. We would probably win by 10, but it's close enough. So let's get into some of the stat leaders. We had Levi Stockard, 16 points, 4 rebounds. Vince Williams had 16 points, 9 rebounds. Shout out to Vince, hit a bunch of big shots. Ace Baldwin with 11 points, 5 assists. Really, really good player, man. I can't stress it enough. And I got to give Josh Banks some love, too. He had 9 points and 4 rebounds. For ODU, you had Trice with 16 points, 8 rebounds. He brought a lot of energy throughout the game. Kaiser had 14 points, 4 rebounds. He had 12 in the first half, so we shut that down. Second half, like I was stating. My takeaways, VCU ain't nothing with, you know what I mean? We look like a really complete team. Offensively and defensively, especially with the ball movement we're getting offensively now. The defense already being stifling, and it's only going to get better once we get Hassan back out there to contest at the rim. I think ODU had a little bit of success around the basket first half simply because we didn't have that rim protection there. But once Hassan gets back, he's healthy. Our defense is going to take another step forward, if you can believe that. Which is going to be crazy. Also, Levi Stockard is really showing his worth. And like I said, I believe all the successful teams in VCU, in recent VCU history, all the successful teams had a big that they can throw the ball into to get some easier points. You don't believe me? You got to start off with Jamie Skeen. Let's start off with Larry Sanders. Then we'll go to Jamie Skeen. Then we'll go Javonte Reddick. And then we'll go Mo Cox. Then we didn't have some success. I'm not going to say anything else about that. And then here we go with Levi Stockard being a reliable post scorer. And it makes everything else easier for our guards. I mean, seriously. When we were in school, like 2011, Final Four year, we ran a stack. I don't know how many times a game, just because, we had a mismatch usually. Skeen, there's not really too many people who can guard Skeen in the post. And if you come doubling, we got shooters all around. So, boom. This is going to be hard. It's going to be hard to guard. It's going to be hard to guard that. And not saying that this team is going to the Final Four, but that's just the makeup that makes VCU very, very good. So we're going to be really challenging to beat. So for my low-key player of the game, I got to tell you what. This is really hard to make a decision. I'm not going to hold you. It was really hard to make a decision. I want to say Ace because his like you can like it's evident you can see the difference in how we play when he's on the court and when he's off the court, especially offensively. You know what I mean? You can see the difference. So I want to say Ace, but that's not really low key. Everybody knows what Ace brings to the table. But Josh Banks, I mean, this guy, this kid is showing resilience, man. You know, a lot of guys. Now I'm gonna break this down. A lot of guys, you know, especially nowadays with transferring being so easy, a lot of guys don't have the will to fight back. They don't get some minutes. Things don't work out early on. They think they're better than what they are. Not saying this is Josh, but they think they're better than what they are. They think they should be getting more minutes. They don't like who's in front of them. Da 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 da. But what Josh Banks decided to do was, I'm gonna get in the gym. I'm gonna fucking work. I'm gonna put my best foot forward. I'm gonna put the extra time in, whether that be film, whether that be shots, whether that just be whatever, meditating, whatever it is. I'm gonna do that so I can contribute more. I'm not going to take the easy road, or I ain't gonna say the easy road. That's a soft way out. If you just feel like you got to transfer. Sometimes coach gonna be like, "Hey, you got to transfer," but other times it's gonna be like, "You can make this what you want to. You just got to put the work in." And I want to give Josh a shout out for putting the work in. You know what I mean? And this is from the coaches. The coaches said he put the work in to get these minutes he's getting, and when he's getting these minutes, he's producing. So let that be a lesson to anybody else. You know what I mean? If you know somebody who's going through it, share the video. But it's important. It's important that people know that just because things aren't going your way doesn't mean you back out or you quit something. You just put your head down and you work harder and harder and harder and harder until you get the results you want. That's if you truly, truly want it. You know what I mean? So, Josh Banks, low-key player of the game, once again. Shout out to him. Shout out to the coaching staff. Shout out to his teammates for bigging him up. Right? So, with that, I love y'all. Until next time. Peace.